The life of Prince Jefri brother to the Sultan of Brunei, stands as one of the most controversial tales in modern royal history. Behind the walls of Brunei's palaces, a story unfolded that went far beyond wealth and privilege. Jefri's world was one of staggering opulence, but it was built on deceit, corruption, and scandal. He managed to divert billions from his country's wealth, and while the financial scandal alone was shocking, the true horror lies in the personal exploitation that characterized his private life. This is the story of how a prince fell from grace and left a legacy of betrayal and tragedy that will never be forgotten. Prince Jefri was born into unimaginable privilege, a life few could even dream of. As a member of the Bruneian royal family, he grew up in a world of luxury and power. From a young age, he was groomed for prominence, surrounded by the finest things money could buy and given access to opportunities far beyond the reach of ordinary people. His education took place at elite institutions, where he mingled with the world's most influential figures, seamlessly integrating into the global elite. As his elder brother ascended to the throne as Sultan, Jefri's path to power was solidified. He took on influential roles within Brunei, most notably as finance minister and chairman of the Brunei Investment Agency, BIA, giving him near total control over the kingdom's finances. Charming and charismatic, Jefri was widely seen as a capable leader, a man who balanced royal duty with a modern sensibility. Yet beneath the surface, his personality harbored darker tendencies, a relentless pursuit of excess and a craving for luxury that would soon spiral out of control. Though his outward persona was one of a dedicated public servant, his true motivations were far from noble. While he oversaw the nation's wealth, his decisions were increasingly driven by personal greed rather than public interest. By the 1990s, Jefri's influence within Brunei had grown almost unchecked, giving him the opportunity to exploit his position for personal gain on an unimaginable scale. As the years went by, signs of financial trouble began to surface within Brunei. Investments that were supposed to secure the nation's future were failing at an alarming rate, raising questions about the management of the Brunei Investment Agency, BIA. But it wasn't until 1997 that the full extent of the disaster became clear. The facade finally cracked when it was revealed that billions of dollars had gone missing under Jefri's stewardship. What emerged was a staggering tale of embezzlement. Jefri had siphoned off $14.8 billion from the nation's sovereign wealth fund, using it to bankroll a life of extravagance and hedonism. This was not just a minor mismanagement or oversight. It was a deliberate and systematic plundering of national resources. The money, meant to serve the Bruneian people, instead funded Jefri's personal empire. His real estate holdings spanned the globe, including a $110 million hotel in New York and a $70 million estate in Beverly Hills. These properties were just the tip of the iceberg. His luxury car collection, numbering over 2,300 vehicles, included some of the world's rarest and most expensive models, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces, and Bentleys, each symbolizing the unchecked greed that had come to define his reign. But the scandal went beyond mere financial loss. It revealed the moral corruption at the heart of Jefri's lifestyle. The embezzled funds did not just pay for properties and cars. They financed an existence driven by excess, indulgence, and a blatant disregard for ethical boundaries. Jefri's financial crimes were ultimately about more than money. They exposed the darker aspects of his character, where wealth became a tool for power and exploitation. Jefri's life was a study in unrestrained decadence. His yacht, humorously named Tits, was infamous not just for its name, but for what happened aboard. Guests included celebrities, models, and the global elite, but the opulence hid a much darker reality. Jefri wasn't just living in excess. He was using his wealth to manipulate and exploit vulnerable individuals. Behind the scenes, a well-organized network of recruiters worked to satisfy his desires. They targeted young women, promising them a life of luxury in exchange for their companionship. But once they were drawn into Jefri's world, these women often found themselves trapped in a nightmare. Forced to sign non-disclosure agreements and stripped of their autonomy, they were treated as little more than commodities. The atmosphere was one of fear and control, where refusing Jefri's advances simply wasn't an option. One woman, a former model, recounted how she was kept on Jeffrey's yacht for weeks, under constant surveillance and unable to leave. Her testimony revealed the grim reality behind the gilded facade, a world where wealth was used not just for indulgence, but for domination. The scale of Jeffrey's crimes eventually became too large to ignore. His brother, the Sultan, was forced to intervene, leading to a protracted legal battle that captivated the world. In 2000, a settlement was reached where Jeffrey agreed to return a portion of the embezzled assets. But even then, recovering the billions he had stolen was far from straightforward. Jeffrey had hidden his wealth across multiple jurisdictions, making it difficult for the Bruneian government to claw back what was rightfully theirs. Exiled to the UK, Jeffrey's fall from grace was complete, yet the legal disputes didn't end there. His former lawyers and associates pursued him for unpaid fees, leading to further lawsuits that exposed even more of his corruption. Meanwhile, the Bruneian royal family's reputation lay in tatters. What had once been a symbol of stability and respect was now synonymous with scandal and greed. While much of the media attention focused on the financial aspects of Jeffrey's crimes, the real victims were the individuals he exploited. For years, young women were lured into his world only to find themselves trapped, silenced, and abused. The power dynamics were so skewed that justice seemed almost impossible. Even today, the full extent of the abuse remains obscured by legal barriers and the influence of powerful figures. One particularly haunting account comes from Gillian Lauren, who detailed her experiences in her memoir, Some Girls, My Life in a Harem. Her story shed light on the systemic abuse within Jeffrey's inner circle and provided a glimpse into a world that few could even imagine. Yet despite these revelations, meaningful justice has been hard to come by. The victims of Jeffrey's exploitation remain largely forgotten, while the prince himself faced only limited consequences for his actions. In the years following the scandal, Brunei worked hard to rebuild its image. The Sultan took a more direct role in managing the nation's finances, implementing reforms designed to prevent a repeat of Jeffrey's crimes. But the damage had already been done. The legacy of Prince Jefri's actions is a sobering reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. It's a cautionary tale for those who believe that wealth and privilege can shield them from accountability. Even now, as Brunei moves forward, the shadow of Jeffrey's excess continues to loom large. His name has become synonymous with scandal, corruption, and betrayal, a symbol of what can go wrong when the pursuit of pleasure and power overrides the values of responsibility and decency. This story isn't just a chapter in Brunei's history, it's a warning to the world. Do you think Prince Jefri ever faced real consequences for his actions, or did he escape justice thanks to his power and wealth? The dark secrets surrounding his life continue to raise questions that still resonate today. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this controversial figure. Share your perspective in the comments below. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into untold stories. Your engagement helps us keep bringing these hidden histories to light. Until next time, stay curious.